Welcome back to News Hub this morning. Thank you so much for joining us in the past conversation. I'm bringing you back to another set of conversations right now, but we're looking at the agricultural sector. Nigeria as a nation has been buoyant, has been sufficient, has been doing well with agriculture before the advent of crude oil in Nigeria, and which started exploitation and exploration in the now biosciences delivery in 1956. What happened to that agricultural sector? Why are we neglecting that agricultural sector even when we know that insufficiency has crept in into the oil use? So this morning, we'll be taking a critical look at the agricultural sector and, of course, focusing on the state of emergency on the nation. Joining us will be Daniel Udeme Joseph. Daniel Udeme Joseph is a practicing farmer and a project management professional. Daniel Udeme Joseph, good morning. Welcome to News Hub this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Daniel Udeme Joseph. I want to ask you this simple question, first of all. How did we miss it on agriculture? How did we get here that no one government looks at agriculture as a means of diversification or as a means of sustenance to Nigeria, knowing fully well that this was our bane of sustenance back before oil came in? How did we get here, first of all, please?
Okay, it's a very simple answer to this. We got used to easy money. Oil afforded us easy money, and it was convenient at the time to ignore pragmatism, to ignore hard work, at the lure and the promises of easy money. But I think we are now face to face with stark reality. There is really no easy thing. We've got to get back to work. And agriculture, thank God, hasn't left. It's been there from history, still there till now. So we've got to get back to work, to get back to where we were.
Challenges faced by farmers today. That's talking about the practicing farmers and the would-be farmers. What are the challenges faced today?
Sorry, I can hardly hear you.
I said, what are the challenges faced by farmers in Nigeria?
Okay, so there are several challenges. First and foremost, and the clearest of it, is insecurity. I mean, we could spend another 1 hour, 2 hours talking about insecurity, but I'm going to leave that for the professionals, because I know that everybody already knows that the major reason why we are not in the farms is insecurity. But the other issues I would really love to address, which boils down to my own experience on the farm, is I think government needs to invest more in the issues that are higher up on the EOP. So on the EOP, what we call EOP is the economics of production. So every farmer goes to the farm with a budget. The things that are higher up on the EOP, including irrigation and land clearing, are the major things I believe government should focus on in intervention. I understand that a lot has been done to provide fertilizers and grains and all of those kinds of things, and those are very good. But I believe that when you look at the entire value chain of production, the most expensive things are the things the local farmers cannot afford. So let's put it in perspective. Nigeria agricultural sector is driven by 70% smallholder farmers. And when you talk about smallholder farmers, these are people that can hardly afford $2 per day. And so because they don't have that much money and the bulk of our agricultural productivity is dependent on them, if there is going to be an effective intervention, it has to be with the smallholder farmers. And so that's why I said we need to spend more and we need to invest more in very expensive, so to speak, items on the EOP. So let me give you another instance. I talked about land clearing. Land clearing is about 300,000 per hectare. No farmer will want to invest 300,000 in clearing 1 hectare. So I believe that if government was to focus on, and that's something that has been captured in the address of the state of emergency for agriculture, and I think it's a really brilliant idea. The other thing is irrigation. Irrigation is also really expensive, and I also see that had been addressed in the state of emergency, where there is supposed to be a collaboration between the Ministry of Agric and the Ministry of Water Resources. Irrigation is expensive, and so and the irrigation case is interesting because it's just common sense that if we have dual planting within the year, we have both rainy and dry season, productivity just doubles. That's common sense. And so a lot of the cultivation, about 86% is rain-fed, so we have 86% of our cultivation being rain-fed. So for dry season, we're having barely 18 to maybe 20%. Giving us or giving farmers irrigation simply just means that we are going to push that percentage upward, and it will increase our total productivity. The other thing I would like to talk about is technology and funding. So I'll do technology first. And when we talk about technology, because again, my focus or my concern has always been what we are doing for the smallholder farmers. When we talk about technology, there is a chasm between technology and smallholder farmers. And that bridge is supposed to be with the extension.
That line that you're towing is just the best for anyone who's watching at this point in time to really hear regards to how technology can be really harnessed in ensuring food security within the agricultural sector in the country. It's also very nice to touched on the very critical areas that the president had promised that he would intervene to see that the agricultural sector really rises up to the occasion, not even because of what is going on at this point in time alone, but because we've been facing challenges with regards to food security in the last couple of years, so to speak. And the issue of fuel subsidy removal has even made it even worse for a lot of households and stakeholders, just as Daniel. We'll try to reconnect base with Daniel in just a moment. And we'll be speaking with Daniel Udeme Joseph, who is a practicing farmer and project management professional. Daniel, we're so excited to reconnect with you. We apologize for the glitch. Thank you so much for staying with us on the program today. So far, so good. You mentioned the fact that some of the policies being churned out by the present administration, fair enough, good enough, but it seems as if to say there are pinpoint issues that you like as a farmer for the government to do. Share with us those things you feel are not covered under the present policy has been churned out at the administration.
Okay, thank you. Let me start with going back to the conversation that was going on in the studio, more like a debate between smallholder farming, subsistence farming versus the mechanized farming. Let me just share a bit of light on that before I answer your question, Ma. There is no debate about the importance of mechanized farming and its potential to drive the economy. However, our situation is such that the population, and like I said earlier, 70% are smallholder farmers. And so, in my opinion, if you do a policy that isn't favoring the majority that will produce, and is skewed towards mechanization, because which answers your question partly, this policy is skewed towards mechanization. It's okay, it's going to drive. So for instance, we import over ₦1 trillion of wheat. So if you have 500,000 hectares and you are planting wheat, for instance, that drops our export, that crashes the dollar and all of that. So that it's on its own, it is benefits. And so we'll have more money, to share and all of the economics around that. I'm not an economist. However, if you drive agriculture through subsistence farmers, the population will do better. There will be better employment. There will be more food for us to eat. There will still be that same export. So we are not even negating the export, but we are saying we first at home need to benefit. And to do that, we need the people. And incidentally, we have a very similar agricultural system. India